Welcome back inside TD Garden. Nick Gelso, Evan Valenti, my man. Mic bump.
The mic bump?
What's going on? Welcome to the Garden.
Dude, this is a blast. I mean, you guys do this all the time. I cannot believe you do this all the time. This is what dreams are made of, folks. I'm serious. I've waited a long time to do this.
Well,
is
it's an honor. You've lived up to your reputation, and you've been filling in on Celtics Beat podcast and doing an amazing job. And your predecessor loved Greg Monroe.
Oh,
for years, he was talking about the Celtics need to go after Monroe. Well, in principle, here we are. He's signing with the Celtics. What does he bring to this team, Evan?
Well, okay, so as a guy that's been watching Greg Monroe since I was at Syracuse, he was at Georgetown, and he used to kill Syracuse routinely. I can tell you Greg Monroe is a very skilled big man, okay? Maybe not on the defensive side of the floor, but that's okay.
Right.
The Celtics are the number 1 team, number 2 team in the NBA defensively anyway. They don't really need that. They need some scoring and need a guy to give some of these bigs some time off. Al Horford has logged a ton of minutes, and he's done a really great job this year. Aaron Baines, Marcus Morris, Daniel Tice, who's been spectacular, right? But they need another big guy to come in, help facilitate that offense, and give some guys a break. And that's the one thing that I think they're really looking for here, a guy that can come in, get some rebounds, maybe facilitate a little bit out of the high and low post if he can. Now, that's not going to happen right away, but I can tell you Monroe is a very skilled guy. He can put the ball on the deck, he can score with either hand, can pass the ball. He's going to fit in. It's just going to take a while. It might be a little bumpy to start, but this is a guy that's very, very skilled.
Well, you mentioned a couple things. Rebounding is something the Celtics definitely need. He's been a good career rebounder.
Yes.
He may not be an amazing defender, like you said, but he has a big body in the paint. And he's an imposing body. So that helps the Celtics as well when people are driving, like LeBron driving the lane. Matt, you can't play Baines and Morris together too often because I think the speed factor there, they might be a little too slow.
Oh, yeah.
But imagine driving the lane right here against one of those two guys. So toughness, I think, is a big factor as well.
And the way the Celtics play defense is different. You know, they're not going to leave Monroe stranded on an island if he's got some big in a switch that he can't handle. Like if he's going to be matched up against Giannis or against Porzingis or against Kevin Love, and when he comes back, some of the upper echelon bigs in the league, he's going to have help. The way the Celtics play defense, they play really as a unit, and when you get to see it in person, it's a little bit different. When you get that bird's eye view, it's really nice. You can see the defensive movement, how guys shift around the floor. It's beautiful. So if you're Greg Monroe, it's not really that hard to pick the Boston Celtics, to be frankly honest. I know New Orleans is involved. I know that's sort of his hometown. He has a lot of history there. But this is a Celtics team that can really harness his strengths and cover up his weaknesses with the way they move and play as a team.
Not to mention, Brad Stevens has rehabilitated careers over and over in his short time here in Boston, 4 or 5 years. Monroe, this could be a perfect situation for him. Comes in a, maybe a little cliche to say, a P.J. Brown type role midway through the season.
Oh, yeah, that's already been done today.
Yeah, a couple times.
I like it, though. I like it,
a couple times. And, rehab his career and potentially he signs a better contract next year. It's a win-win all the way around. Now, you seem to think that Monroe will not be starting.
No, I don't think so. I don't know why people would assume that right away. Maybe he plays himself into that role. Maybe he does not. The one thing I'll tell you is when he comes in, I would expect him to be productive fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Whether he ends up starting or not, I don't know. I don't think the Celtics really want him to play crunch time minutes either. If you think about the way they like to play, they like to have as much skill on the floor at all times, and they will sacrifice height here and there. When they really want to play, it's Kyrie Irving, it's Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Al Horford. That's your crunch time 5. Monroe is good, but he's not going to break that mold. At the end of the game, he's not. Maybe in certain situations, maybe like if they play a team like as an example, the Bulls, where Brad used Gerald Green as a starter to kind of mix things up, or as Brad says, to shake the snow globe. Maybe that's something, but I would not expect Monroe to play real big quality minutes down the stretch all the time. Maybe in certain situations, absolutely, but not all the time.
What does he do for Al Horford's game?
Well, Al Horford's going to be, it's going to be weird because they don't like to play a lot of two-post guys. But Al Horford's going to be able to kind of float around a little bit more on the perimeter a little bit more. He is a really good knockdown shooter. He's shooting the ball almost at a 41% clip this year from downtown. He's going to get more open looks down there if Monroe's able to command the low post. They can, because Al Horford is so skilled and he can play almost anywhere. They can kind of play a four. Like I don't think they're going to get this complicated, but they could almost play a 4-round one because how good Al Horford is at shooting 3 points.
Yeah, he's the MVP of the team as much as Kyrie is.
Yes.
Even. As you can see, they're tearing the parquet floor up around us.
They are going to take us
and this
with
is
what part of the parquet here.
Yeah, this is about normal for the Garden Report.
Right.
We're used to this, and the ice is coming down. The Bruins are playing here Saturday. So real quick, we're going to wrap on this. Yes or no answer. Is Danny Ainge finished as the trade deadline is approaching on the 8th?
Maybe a minor move, but I would say
that's not a yes or no answer. No,
I say he is done. Yes.
You think he's done?
Yep.
He's Evan Valenti. You know him. You know him from Celtics Beat. You know his voice. You know his face from the famous Celtics Roundtable on CLNS Media and often on Celtics Blog. Thanks so much for joining us tonight,
thank you, man.
And we're looking forward to having you here at the Garden quite often.
I'll be back for
I'm
sure.
Nick Gelso. You know he's Evan Valenti. Today's segment was powered by eHarmony. eHarmony.com/Garden Report. Get 1 free month with the purchase of 3, and it is Valentine's Day. And like Jimmy Toscano says every video, he only needed it a week. eHarmony.
Well, I mean, not everybody's Jimmy Toscano, okay? Nobody's got that kind of skills.
We'll see you Super Bowl Sunday right back here at TD Garden. Celtics Blog, CLNS Media.